Oh, and thank you so much for joining me here at the Paul Wisdom Project today. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about something, and I know it feels like it's been a while since I've spoken. I have been a little bit busy over the last weeks, and so now I'm back. Yeah, so I'm back with another video, and I want to talk to you guys today about uh because there's been some talk about being about chefs being similar to musicians, or that the music industry is similar to the chef industry, and there is some truth to that. And I wanted to cover some of the ways that those two industries, the two industries, are similar. Now, just a disclaimer for you guys. I actually used to be a musician myself. I used to play the piano, and I also used to sing. Although people who know me say that I can sing. I'm not going to sing for you guys, but yeah, I used to be a musician. I know how tough it can get. But I'm also a chef too now, and so I know how difficult being a chef it can also get as well. Now, I wanted to start this off by saying something I said in one of my other videos, is that both being a chef and being a musician, they both require passion. Yes, I'm gonna say it. They both require a good amount of passion. If you don't have a passion for cooking great food, if you don't have a passion for creating really good music and feeling it, then both of these will be difficult for you to go through and grow with. It's going to be very difficult. And so I just wanted to compare why being a chef and being a musician, why are they so similar? Well, they're very similar in a lot of ways, in the sense that yes, they both require passion. They both require you to really have they both have different niches. So, as you know, with being a musician, there's many different types of musicians. There's musicians that write their own music. There's musicians that can play one specific instrument, whether that be saxophone, the trombone, the piano, the guitar, many different types of instruments. And then there's many different types of music as well, different genres of music. I'm sure you guys can name off a million different genres of music. You got rap music, you've got heavy metal, you've got country, you've got soul, you've got many different types of music. And so there's many different musicians all around the world, excuse me, that can play, that have specific niches as to what music they can play and what music they like and what music they're not really that much interested in. And it's similar to being a chef in the sense that there's different types of chefs. There's chefs that can, write menus. There's chefs that like to cook. There's chefs that like to sit in the office, and there's different types of food all around the world. There's North American cuisine, there's Italian cuisine, there's Chinese cuisine, there's Hungarian. There's a million different types of cooking, and there's certain chefs that can cook really good Italian food. There's certain chefs that can cook really good Mexican food. There's certain chefs that can cook really good North American food. So between the two, they're similar in that sense, where there's a lot of different things to do within both industries. So that's one way that they're similar. They're also similar in the sense that in both of them, you have to have a really good sense of urgency with both of them. So in the kitchen, as you know, there can be a lot of pressure within the kitchen, and so when you're in the kitchen, you have to be focused on what you're doing at all times. You've got to be aware of what you're doing at all times, and you got to be able to move with a sense of, and that will help you, excuse me, move with a sense of urgency. Okay. Now, when it comes down to being a musician, it's the same thing. When I was learning how to play the piano and singing, there was also, in a sense of urgency, in the sense that you really had to be drawn into what you were doing. You had to really have a hold on what note you were singing, on what pitch you were singing at. And there were moments where, depending on the type of music we were playing or the music we were singing to, you either had to know how to, move slow, you had to be able to know how to move fast. And so and so yes, in that sense, cooking and being a musician are the same. Yeah, so those are some of the ways that being a musician and being a chef are similar. Now, I'm not sure where you guys stand. I'm not sure, for example, what your favorite music is, what your favorite food is. I think I actually covered that in one of my other videos. Um, what's your favorite food? How to find out what your favorite food is. But yeah, they do have a lot of similarities with them. But like anything else, guys, and like I said, I've spoken about this on my channel and some of my videos. Like anything else, guys, you have to make sure that you have a passion for both of these things. And in this instance, I talk on this channel about mainly what being a chef is. You've got to really my thing has been recently, and it's something that I've been thinking about, is that in order to use something, you have to know how it works, right? And so, if you think about it, we can relate it to both. In order to be a chef and in order to know how to cook good food, you have to know how the business works. You have to know how making that dish works. You have to know how what the life of a chef looks like in order to understand and make the best dishes. Same with being a musician. In order to be a musician, you have to understand the life of a musician and what the life of a musician looks like. And so yeah, both of these have some similarities to them. They're also similar. That was another thing I wanted to mention as well. They're also similar in the sense that with being a musician and being a chef, there are moments where it does require a certain amount of teamwork. You've got to be a team player in both. For example, when if you're in music, if you're, let's say, a singer in a choir. You've got to be on the same page with the rest of the choir. You've got to be singing your note properly. You've got to be at the right pitch. You've got to make sure that you're on the same page with everyone. Same with if you're playing an instrument, for example. If you're in a symphony and you're playing a guitar, and then the saxophone's there and the pianist is there, you've got to make sure that you guys are on the same note and that you guys are playing parallel to each other so that you're both the music sounds really good. Same thing, we can actually relate that to being a chef. In the kitchen, when you've got all these people cooking on the line, whether you're making salads, whether you're grilling burgers, whether you're sautéing for a dish, whether you're frying chicken fingers or fries, whether you're baking some pizzas in the oven. You've got to make sure that when you're cooking all these things, that you're in tune with the rest of the kitchen, that salads isn't putting up their salad before the chicken fingers goes up, because if the salad's up, then it's going to sit there, the lettuce is going to get limp, and then as a result, you got to make it all over again. Then the chicken fingers are nice and hot in the window, and now we've got to wait moments for this salad to go back up into the window. So they're both the same in that sense, where you got to know how to work as a team. And some people, depending on who you are, some people aren't don't really like working with teams, and so they we call them one man shows, and that's both being a chef and that's also a musician. There's some musicians that really are really have a passion for what they do, and they prefer to keep they prefer to do things solo. So, for example, in music they have what's called special musics, and so or special items rather. And so that musician who's really good on the saxophone will play the instrument to a song, and they'll do that solo by themselves. Or that pianist who has a really good song that they love to play will play it, but they will play it solo. They'll do it by themselves. It's just like being a chef. There are some chefs who love working with teams. There's some that just like doing it solo. So they have their own businesses, and then they're going to people's houses, and they're doing it so they're cooking their favorite dish for them, let's say. Or this chef that's really good at making this type of food is doing this. This chef that has really good knife skills, is cooking up this dish. So That's another way how being a musician is similar to being a chef. The other thing I wanted to mention too is that we talk about in music. I'm sure we know that there's different instruments and whatnot. Well, in the chef world, there's also different machines and equipment that we need to do our job successfully. Okay, so whether that's knives, we need to make sure our knives are sharp. Peelers, we have to make sure that we're using the right peeler to peel the right foods. With our mixers, stand mixers, we've got to make sure that we're using the right stand mixers for the right dishes to make the right dishes. Whether you're making a pizza dough, whether you're making a salad dressing from scratch. So yeah, in cooking, we do have a lot of things that we need that we use to create different dishes. Now, when it comes down to being a musician and whatnot, it's the same thing. You gotta when you're playing the guitar, for example, you gotta make sure that guitar is tuned properly and that it can actually play properly. Because if it's not, then unfortunately your music won't sound very good. Same with being a chef. If your knife isn't sharpened, don't expect to have nice looking cut food when you're presenting it to your guests. So yes, all this stuff I've said shows you that being a chef and being a musician has its similarities. But like I said, guys, and I cannot stress this enough to everybody watching this video that wants to get into the chef world. I cannot stress this enough. You have to have a passion for what it is that you do. There's no use in you being a chef or being a musician or being a this or that and you don't have a passion for it. I cannot stress this enough, guys. I was reading a book, a chef book, the Devil in the Kitchen by Marco Pierway. And by the way, guys, I encourage you guys who want to become chefs. I encourage you guys to read that book because it'll actually teach you a lot of things about what the chef world looks like from somebody who actually had a role in making the chef world what it is. I encourage you guys to read that. But no, coming back to that book, one thing that book said was talking about Chef Marco was talking about the fact that what he did, how he made it through. He only worked in the chef world up into his 40s or so. And what he spoke about in that book was the fact that he had given back his Michelin stars because he found at the end of it, because he wasn't like most of us chefs who these days work only 8 9 hour 10 hour days. This guy was working 20-hour days and working 7 days a week, and most chefs can only do half that these days. Okay, and so what he was talking about, well, the reason why I'm bringing that up is what he was saying with that is he was a chef only for the adrenaline and the hard work, working the 17-hour days. He was addicted to it. That's what he said in his book. It was an addiction for him, and he was doing drugs and all that at the same time. You know what I mean? And so then at the end of it all, he gave back his Michelin stars. And now he no longer is a chef the way he was back in his day. You know what I mean? I mean, the guy still cooks. He's in his 60s now. I'm just saying that it wasn't the same as when he was, cooking before. And so the reason why I bring that up is that it's not about working hard. And I know in this new day and age, they're trying to introduce the 4 day work week where people work 4 days and then get 3 days off. I understand that, and that does have some benefit to people loving more what they do. But guys, it's not about how much work you can do. It's not about being the best chef or being the best musician, plating the best food or playing the best movie. It doesn't matter. That all that stuff is like secondary, okay? What matters is your passion. How much do you love what you do? Does it show in your food? Does it show in your music? When you play the music or whatever musical instrument you play, do people around you feel it the same way you feel it, or are you just playing for yourself? Same with being a chef. When you cook that dish and you serve it to people, can they taste the love in your food, or is it just, or do they just look at that or taste that and just say, I could get this somewhere else. I could go somewhere else and get this for a different price. So guys, it's all about the passion. I know I've spoken. I'm speaking about chef is being a chef like being a musician. The biggest thing behind this, guys, and I can't stress it enough. And I'm gonna say that, and then I'm finished. I promise. Is passion. You have to have a passion for what you do. You've got to love what you do with a passion, or else it'll just slip away and you won't realize how fast it's slipping away. Okay, guys? Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I hope that you guys find what I said interesting. I hope that you really enjoyed this content. Hey, if you wanna talk one on one, you can email me. I want you guys to check out my website, the Paul Wisdom Project. I have recipes on there. I have videos just like this one up there that motivates people to become chefs. I really encourage you guys to watch some of those videos. Look at some of my recipes that are made from scratch. Hey, if you have any tips, tricks, or anything of that nature, tell me about it. I want to know. I want to know. And if you have any input on, being a chef versus being a musician, put it in the comments. I want to see what you guys think. I want to gain some more knowledge while also spreading my knowledge as well. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining me here at the Paul Wisdom Project again, and I hope you find my this video useful for you. All right, thank you.